Hi everyone. So this last for now. This video it was to address the question of angles that are greater than 360. Okay, so greater than 360 or 2 pi. Right? So let's just quickly review. The unit circle gives exact values for any angle between 0 and 2 pi or 0 and 360 degrees. So for example, let's say I asked you for the sine of pi over 3. That's easy. We go to pi over 3. Pi over 3 would be up here. And that is a half, and root 3 over 2. Sine is always y. The answer is root 3 over 2. If I asked you for the sine of 45 degrees, okay, so I know I don't draw the circle, I don't put degrees, but 45 degrees is a simple one. 45 degrees would be here. It's half of the quadrant, and that is root 2 over 2. Okay, but the question that someone had asked me, what about the sine of 765 degrees? Basically, regardless of the size of the angle, you would just be turning around the unit circle. So after 360, you would still get the same values. That's what I'm trying to say. So the sine of 765 is somewhere on this circle. Your job basically is to remove full turns. Remove full turns. So what that means, you're basically removing a full turn. So if we do, there's different ways of doing this, but the numbers are not too big. I'll just do it this way. 765 minus 360 is 405. 405 is still too big. If you subtract 360, and actually there we go, that's 45 degrees. So 765 degrees, what I'm saying here would be 2 full turns only to end up at the exact same spot as 45 degrees. So the sine of 765 degrees is actually the same as the sine of 45 degrees, and I happened to do that earlier, and that is the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so there's different ways you can do it. The easiest way is to remove multiples of 360. And if you don't want to remove multiples, just keep removing 360. Okay, so for example, here, let me just do one more. What is the cosine? The cosine of 630 degrees. Too big. So I'll go here. 630 minus 360 is 270. There we go. It's less than 360. It's on the unit circle. 270 is here, right? 90, 180, 270. 270 is the same as 3 pi over 2. What do we have here? We have 0 and negative 1. So the cosine of 630 is actually the exact same thing as the cosine of 270, which is actually equal to 0. Okay, so I hope I'm making this clear, but you're reducing an angle greater than 360 to one that is less than 360, because the idea is you would just, after a complete turn, it's like you're starting over. Okay, so I'll just do one more here. The cosine of 360, 420 degrees. This one should be a simple one. So 420, too big. If I remove 360, that's 60 degrees, right? So 360 would bring you back here. You complete another 60 and you're right over here. Right? Every turn, every 360 degrees, you're back to where you started. So it's like you're just starting over, okay? So it's equal to the sine of 60, which is 1/2. Okay, so this was degrees. Now, if I can quickly do radians, a little bit different. So what about radian that is greater than 2 pi? So for example, the sine of 11 pi over 3. Okay, what is that equal to? Now, the trick is, if the denominator is 3, anything greater than 6 is a full turn. If the denominator is 4, anything greater than 8 is a full turn. And if the denominator is 6, anything greater than 12 is a full turn. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So this is too big because 6 pi over 3, 6 pi over 3 is a full turn. So anything greater than 6 needs to be reduced. So basically, what I would recommend you do is using your fraction button on your calculator. So let me just find a spot. So it looks something like this or something like this. Okay? It's both actually. You're inputting it as a fraction, but then you want to reduce it to a mixed fraction. Right? So I'll do it at the same time. So 11 over 3 as a mixed fraction is 3 2/3. 3 2/3. Okay, so that's just some playing around on your calculator. You want to reduce the improper fraction to a mixed fraction. What you need to do is you need to subtract the largest even number in this value, the largest even number, right? Which is the largest multiple of 2. Because remember, every 2 pi is 1 turn. So we want to remove a full turn. And in this case, the largest multiple of 2 in 3 is just 2. So we're left with 1 2/3. And then we want to go back to an improper fraction. So, I mean, you can do this all on your calculator. Right? Or calculator. If not, sorry, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So I was trying to give you time to do it on the calculator, but this is very, very simple, right? So mixed fraction, multiply, and add. So now this is a value you recognize. So I'm going to go back to where I started. And basically what I'm saying is that 11 pi over 3 is the exact same trigonometric point as 5 pi over 3. So 1 pi over 3 is here, 2 pi is here, 3 pi, 4 pi. There we go. 5 pi over 3 would be right here. The coordinates of 5 pi over 3, hopefully you can remember the trick. If the denominator is 3, the first coordinate is 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3. I always try to remember it that way. And square root of 3 over 2, positive, negative. So we have negative here. So the sine of 5 pi over 3 is negative the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, I'll do another one. I'll do another one. I'll do, let's say, 100. Okay, so this is one. If I asked you for the cosine, actually, I'll try to do one of each. So that was a third. I'll try to do now a sixth. So the cosine of 151 over 6. So obviously we know this is greater than 2 pi. So on my calculator, I input this as a fraction. So not the division button, okay? I'm showing you this way. I'm showing you this way. And we're left with, so we're just converting the improper fraction to the mixed fraction. So remember, look for this button somewhere. Okay, input like this, but look for this button somewhere. Then we want to remove the largest multiple of 2, because every 2 pi is a term. 4 pi, another term. 6 pi, another term. 8 pi, another term, and so on. So all you have to do is basically, whatever number this is, if it's odd, it's 1 less. Right? So we have 1 and 1/6. I'm not going to use the calculator now. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So what we just did is we just found the same equivalent. It's like you're finding the equivalent trigonometric point. So 151 over 6 is the same as 7 pi over 6. So let's see where that is. So 1 pi over 6 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. Okay, I'm assuming you've memorized the unit circle. 7 pi over 6. 6 starts with a 3 and the 2. We went negative, 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 negative. The cosine is the square root of 3, negative square root of 3 over 2. And now I'll do one more. Okay, I'll do one more. I will do, let's see where I can squeeze this in so I don't waste time erasing. I'll try to start it here in red. I will do the sine of 81 pi over 4. Okay, too big. I'm going to reduce. I'll do it up here. 81 over 4 as a improper fraction. 81 over 4 is 20 and 1/4. 20 and 1/4. The 20 is even. So the largest multiple of 2 or even number is 20. So we're going to remove all of 20. And we're left with 1/4. So the equivalent is actually pi over 4. Okay, so I hope this is, well, let me just finish the answer here. That's root 2 over 2. So let me just show you quickly. This is saying that if you were to count 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and going on, fast forward, right? Going on and on and on. 81/4 would actually bring you to pi over 4, excuse me. Okay, so this is basically the key to use your calculator to your advantage. Mixed fraction, improper fraction. Remove the largest multiple of 2. Whatever that is goes back to an improper fraction. Okay, and remember, you can always email me, but this is basically how to deal with angles that are greater than a full turn.